Hope you had a nice Christmas, and I hope you're having a blessed New Year. Like and subscribe if you like this video. Leave comments, and I'm gonna definitely try to respond to all of these. You know the name of this video, so let's get straight to it. And you might see me looking away reading a lot because I want to get through this quicker. So let's begin. No one is born gay or a homosexual. Why? The answer is obvious to those who think outside the box. And the box is the TV. Thinking outside the box is the TV because TVs always create false narratives. False narratives that the people who control the country want you to have. So, getting back into it. What is puberty? The time of life when sex glands become functional. And that's around 12 years old. And until a person reaches puberty, their sex glands are non-functional. So how can a person be born gay when their sex glands are not functional? It would be easier to be born with the ability to walk and talk than to make a sexual choice, which calls for thought. Can sex be learned at an early age? Well, how are you going to teach kids sex when they don't even understand, when they haven't even reached puberty yet? If they've never had an orgasm, it can't be explained to them. Nor can they decide whether they want to have sex with a man or a woman. Therefore, one must reach the age of puberty before one can decide which sex is preferable. But they're trying to teach this in school now. They're trying to teach this in school now so that it will work with the conditioning. They're trying to tell children it is okay so that it will work with the social conditioning. Now, the question now becomes how one makes the distinction of preference between heterosexual or homosexual relationship without having experienced an orgasm from either sex or even knowing anything about sex. By logical subtraction, the answer must be conditioning. What is meant by conditioning? When you know how a person will react when put into a when you control the conditions. When you know how a person will react when you control the conditions. Example, put two men in a cell, lock it up. Put enough food in the cell for one man to eat and survive. And what are they going to do? They're going to fight for that food. If they're equally matched, they're going to fight till one is dead. If they're not equally matched, one is going to starve to death. You will get the same situation if you put two men in a cell and you put a woman in there. Eventually, they're going to fight to mate with her. When if they're equally matched, one may die or they may work something out. But we know there's going to be an altercation. Condition. Create the conditions and you know what the results are going to be. Now, one of the biggest contributing factors that created homosexuality is war. Because war is an unnatural position. It's an unnatural situation or condition. Now, the men who stayed home and were attacked, they were cool. But when you put men in a group, young, virile men in a group, and they have to travel over long distances, something's going to happen. Something is going to happen. And it's not going to be an act of nature. And I'm talking about the men who are traveling 2 or 3 months to go to war. And during the travel, they're just having fun together and things happen. Now let's take, for instance, the Greek. Because in war, homosexuality was normal in war. What the Greeks would do was send adolescent boys out to live in the woods in packs. To survive, they had to rob, steal, and do whatever they could to survive. And it was considered okay. The older boys would take advantage of the younger boys as they entered puberty. And when the younger boys became older, they took advantage of the younger boys. And this was a part of their society. In fact, when the older boys, when they got back into society and they got into the military, the men who trained them took advantage of them. In fact, even if they were to become philosophers. Socrates, that's right, Socrates. Socrates called it the intellectual development by pure love of the student. The intellectual development by pure love of the student. So if the more the teacher loved the student, the harder he would teach and educate the student. That was normal. And think about Alexander the Great. We all know he was gay. We can go back to England. The knights had squires. And there were the Knights Templars. Their symbol was 2 men riding a horse together. But let's get to the point. Let's discuss the condition in modern society that began or helped to increase homosexuality. Let's talk about the conditions that created it. And one of the main conditions that created it was welfare. It was welfare. Paying women to have children out of wedlock. And that was very profitable. And if the woman had a man in her home, she could lose money, lose payment. And depending on where you grew up, you experienced that. You experienced that situation, or you knew someone who did. Not only that, when I became a teenager, there were women who didn't work. They had a house full of kids, and they survived with welfare. And what did the daughters do when the daughters grew up? Like mother, like daughter. The daughters did the same thing. In fact, the daughters didn't even move out the house. If it was profitable for the mother to do it, then she didn't mind her daughter doing it, because she was doing what? Bringing in more income. You know, this plan was designed to hurt the black family. But you know, white women took advantage of this as well. The only difference is the social worker didn't go to the homes of Caucasians to see if a man was there or not. They specialized in going to the homes of black people. The catch is that men would always show up. I mean, a woman can't have a baby without a man being there. So what happened is that over time, women, single households with women only, the young man did not have a father role model. So I'm going to read this part off so I can get to the facts and I don't leave anything out. Many women took advantage of this, and if you're a baby boomer, you know at least one woman who was dropping babies for profit. It created a cycle of women making babies and their daughters doing the same. Men were more than willing to have unprotected sex without a thought or concern whether the woman would get pregnant or not. Now you have women that are better off without a man. Never mind needing a man. These women were living at home with their mothers, didn't have a car, nor were they developing the skills to be a wife. Can a woman raise a boy to be a man? The answer is no. If there is no male role models around, he respects. If there is no male role models around if there is no male role models around he respects, he's going to develop the character of a woman. If his grandmother and mother are domineering, chances are he's going to be gay. His natural inclination to dominate will be twisted by seeing women dominate the men in their lives. They will become the dominant role model in his life. As he enters puberty, his way of relating to his male friends will be like that of a woman. If the woman in his life dominates him as well as their male counterpart, he's going to choose the stronger role model. In essence, he will view sex as a way of gaining control and relating to male friends. In essence, he will view sex as a way of gaining control and relating to male friends. What else does he know? These are the conditions from which he must choose. This is the condition that he's stuck in. It is an unnatural situation for a young man to be raised without a father and to have domineering women in his life. If he doesn't become gay, he will be a beta male and have a fear of women, although attracted to women sexually. They will be able to take advantage of him. Okay, now, how does this affect women? When a young woman loves her father, but has a weak relationship with her father because of the women in her life, she may object to the treatment of her father by her mother or grandmother and take on a masculine role in defense of her father. And take on a masculine role in defense of her father, who she is more attracted to. And she will consider this defending her father. You see, children choose sides and must navigate screwed up parenting as best they can in order to survive. These women will take on a masculine role and are suited for other women who have no fathers in their lives. The icing on the cake is when society supports homosexuality as normal. The icing on the cake is when society, which has created the conditions for homosexuality, considers it normal behavior. Now, you may debate what I'm saying, but if you put a gay man in a woman's prison, which has happened, he fathered 2 children. He's supposed to be gay, but he fathered 2 children. Why? He's in a natural element with no competition. The man was in a natural element with no competition. And you put a man, and he will also father children by gay women eventually. And eventually he will father women by gay children in that situation. Because they will return back to doing what is normal for them. The same will happen if you put a gay woman in an all-male prison, put a gay male in an all-men prison, and what is she going to do? She's going to go to her strength. What is her strength? Her strength will be in her femininity. And eventually, she will choose to use it to get whatever she wants. She's going to do what is profitable. And she's going to use her femininity to do what? Control men. If she doesn't, she's a fool. She's going to do what comes natural. Nature has never been defeated. However, to make a long story short, change conditions, you get change results. Change conditions, you will always get change results. Subscribe and like or leave a comment. And let's work this thing out.